Hello everybody and welcome back to my kitchen. Thank you so much for joining me and clicking on that button to see what is in store for you today. As you can see by the title, this is for Super Bowl Sunday. Now, because I am recording this before we find out who is actually in the Super Bowl, I'm really excited to find out. Now, in my house, we don't watch a lot of football, but Super Bowl Sunday gives me a day to play with all kinds of fun food. So this is also in collaboration with a bunch of amazing and awesome women. This is hosted by Taylor, my sweet and beautiful friend Taylor Elmore. So definitely click on down and click on the playlist and click on her channel because you're not going to want to miss either of them. I've seen what all the ladies are going to be making, and trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. What I'm sharing with you today is how to do a pulled pork in an Instant Pot, also Cuban sliders and Cuban nachos, as well as an awesome and yummy hot olive dip. So if you want to see how to make all of this yummy food, then just keep watching. Okay, for the first step is going to be the marinade. Because my pork roast is so large, I'm going to have to kind of give a little bit extra, not exactly double it or triple it, just a little bit more than, the normal. But I'm gonna go in with 1 cup of olive oil. And then we're gonna go in with 1/4 cup of lemon juice. And then we're gonna go in with some orange juice. I'm gonna go ahead and just use the rest of this and just to rinse out the rest of that olive oil. A little bit of some jalapeno juice. I like mine to be a little bit more on the spicy side. You can definitely forego this, but I want some, and we're gonna do 1/4 cup of jalapeno juice. Okay, and then we're gonna go in with some lime juice. Okay, and then I'm gonna take a little bit of minced garlic. This is a pretty big spoon, so I would say that was like a 1.5 teaspoons of garlic. We're gonna put in some Mexican oregano, a couple of teaspoons. Gonna go in with some chives. Gonna go in with some garlic powder. Gonna go in with some cumin. And then some pepper. And sea salt. And then I'm gonna break up some cilantro. I'm gonna pull out a good bunch of that and just kind of tear it up. You can slice it up if you want. I'm just gonna rough tear it. Give it a good mix. Okay, now that I've got my pork butt in the bowl, I'm gonna go ahead and squirt. Now I've got the fat side up, and this is how I'm gonna put it into the Ninja Foodie, because I want all that, while it's cooking and pressurizing, all of that fat to render down into the meat. So we're gonna just cut some pretty deep slits. And then we're just gonna pour our marinade all on the top and make sure that it gets into each of those crevices, holes. Want all that yummy goodness inside there. Doesn't that just look beautiful? Okay, I'm gonna cover this with some saran wrap, and I'm gonna let it marinate for a good hour, and then we'll start to cooking it. Okay, now that I've got my pork marinated for a little over an hour now, I've got plenty of juices in there. We're gonna do a pressure cooker. It's the first time I've ever done this. Normally I do it either in the oven or in the crock pot, but we're gonna try this out for the first time, and hopefully it turns out really, really good. Again, if you don't have an Instapot and you have a slow cooker, you can do it in there and marinate it just like this. Do exactly what I did and put it in the slow cooker and cook it for 8 hours on low, or for 4 hours on high. If you do it in the oven, you're gonna wanna do it in a Dutch oven, a pretty big size Dutch oven, and slow roast it for about 4 or 5 hours. But this is what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna get the lid closed. I'll be right back in just a second. And then for this one, what we're going to do is just turn it on. We're gonna do pressure, high, and we're gonna do an hour and a half. Let's just go. There we go, and start. So I'll see you back in just a second. Okay, it is done. There are a couple spots, kind of like where the fatty parts are, that are a little bit tougher than the rest of it, but I just wanted to make sure that it was all done and it's nice, and I tasted it and it tastes fabulous. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this out and get it shredded, and then I'll start on the sliders. To start off with the sliders, you're gonna have your favorite slider rolls. I chose the King Hawaiian's savory rolls, Dijon mustard, hamburger dill pickles, and some Swiss cheese. You're gonna wanna spray your casserole dish down with some Pam just in case some of the cheese melts over onto the sides and it doesn't stick whenever you're trying to get your sliders out of the casserole dish. Now that you have your slider rolls all separated, you're gonna go in and start layering. First layer is the Dijon mustard. Then you're gonna go on with one layer of the Swiss cheese, followed by your pulled pork. Now you go on with the second layer of Swiss cheese, followed by layering with your dill pickles. And now you're gonna go in with the last layer of Dijon mustard. And then finally, after you're done getting your sandwiches built, you're gonna go in with one stick of melted butter, a couple of teaspoons of minced garlic, and then you're gonna put in some parsley, a little bit of poppy seeds, and a little bit of sea salt. And now that you have your butter mixture, you're gonna wanna top each of the rolls with some of this butter mixture. Now I did put some foil on the top of my rolls and baked them for 20 minutes. And about 15 minutes in, I went on ahead and took the foil off so that the tops could brown, and they were done. Now this next appetizer is brought to you from Kat from Southern Farm and Kitchen. I used her recipe for a hot olive dip. I will have her recipe linked down below on her blog, but for this you're going to need 1 8-ounce package of softened cream cheese, 8 ounces of mozzarella cheese. You're gonna need a half a packet of the ranch dressing mix. I think this had a little bit more than a half, but that's okay. Some chopped green onions, and as well as some slices of olives. You're going to need to reserve some of your olives for topping them, and as well as the green onions. Now you can put this dip in any kind of, shallow baking dish or a cast iron dish and bake it, but I decided to do it in kind of like a bread bowl. I thought this would be fun. So I just took an Italian loaf that I purchased from Walmart and I cut the top off, took all of the filling out, and loaded it up with the dip. Now that you have everything stuffed and ready to go on your baking dish, you're gonna put this in a 350-degree oven for 20 minutes. Now my husband absolutely loved this. Oh my gosh, he raved, and it was absolutely delicious. You gotta try it. Now for this next dish, I decided to go on ahead and keep on with the Cuban style, and I did Cuban nachos. So I have to apologize in advance. Going on and editing this, I found out that I must not have pushed record for the last part of these nachos, but I will have everything in the down bar from my recipe. But you just take some tortilla chips, you take the pulled pork, line everything up, and then also 1 block of 8-ounce of Swiss cheese, and fill her up. Pop it in the oven at 350 until the Swiss cheese is really good and melted. For my toppings, as you can see, I went in with some jalapenos. I went in with avocado. I also took some red onion and finely minced that up. And then also I used Dijon mustard and regular just good old yellow mustard and put that all on top of there. These are absolutely delicious. If you've never had Cuban nachos before, if you've never had Cuban sliders or even a Cuban sandwich, you have got to try it. It's absolutely delicious. So thank you once again for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to click on the link down below so you can see all the yummy goodness that is being made. I know what everybody's making and you're not going to want to miss out on it. So I'll see you in my next one.